Hello, Johnathan Barber here. Welcome to yet another Facebook Live online home buyer seminar. It is indeed a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, that's the problem with doing these online and live. It's fully interactive. Hey, Carba. Hey, Monica. So let's get right into the ground rules, just because I know we're going to have quite a session today. We're doing all these Facebook Live seminars about these important topics like credit repair, how to find a good realtor, how to find a home, how to get your finances in order. We're doing all these really powerful, positive Facebook online seminars, and they're live and fully interactive and recorded as well. So we know that we're going to have fun today. But I do encourage everyone here to be good boys and girls and make sure that all of the comments and questions are very professional, very appropriate is the word I'm looking for. So make sure that we interact, ask questions, ask any question you want, because this is your golden opportunity to get a very hardcore, candid answer to any financing question that you might have, but especially on the topic, which is credit repair. There's no such thing as a bad question. The only bad question is a question that was never asked. And as you know, sometimes we don't ask the question and we assume the answer, bad things happen. So this is your golden opportunity to ask questions about credit repair. Today we're talking about credit repair because so many people have asked, and one of my dear friends and a mentor in the game, Miss Karma, she asked for us to talk about credit repair today, so that's why we're doing it. So shout out to Miss Karma and her associates. Also to the many credit repair clients that I have who've asked us to kick off another interactive credit repair session. So we're doing this all for you guys. And feel free to share this video with friends, family members, clients. I saw a few realtors are joining us and talked about the class. So this is for you as well, because the goal is to empower the community with this information. Speaking personally, and I know a lot of you guys will probably agree, how many of you guys learned about credit repair and financial fitness when you were younger? I don't see any hands on the live feed there. Okay, so you're probably like me. I'll be honest, when I grew up in College Hill, shout out to College Hill, any College Hill people in the house? When I grew up in College Hill, my parents didn't talk about credit repair. They didn't talk about credit reports and FICO scores and Equifax and experience. They didn't tell me about that stuff. My sisters, my brother, we didn't talk about that stuff at home. I mean, we talked about other things, like going to church, going to Sunday school, doing well in school, and working hard so you can get a good diploma and get a degree and all that stuff. But credit was just not in our, I don't want to say culture, but I'll go ahead and say it for the lack of a better word. Hey, we didn't understand it. We didn't talk about it. Even in high school, School for the Creative Performing Arts, best school on the planet, even now, they talk about everything but credit. You can ask me a question about anything, and I would not. Let me not say that, because I know a lot of my SCPA alums are watching this. So I'll just say that I didn't learn credit repair at SCPA. Didn't learn it at Pleasant Hill Elementary. Didn't learn it growing up. And I know, right? It should have been taught in school, Mary, but it wasn't. And we grow up, we become adults, and we learn credit repair by trial and error. And that's what I'm seeing almost every day. I have really great clients who call and they say, JB, I want to buy a house. And there are these warm, incredibly cool people, and I'm falling in love with them on the phone. And then they trust me with their stories and their social security information, and I pull the credit. And there it is. That whole conversation ends in a no. They can't buy a house because of the credit score. And it's so heartbreaking because we'll have these great conversations and we're cracking jokes and we're laughing and we're sharing stories. But as soon as I pull the credit, if it's a bad credit score, they feel instantly like, man, I'm not a good person, or I can't buy the house now, so I just wasted this guy's time and now I need to go crawl in a hole. It's that's why we're doing this class today. And that's why we're going to give you everything you need to know about boosting your credit. And the very first thing I want you to know, hey Charles, very first thing I need everyone to know is this. Your credit score is just a snapshot of who you are financially in data form at that moment. Your credit score is a reflection of your credit health based on a 3-digit score. I guess the best way to look at it, look at it this way. I have a friend who at one time she wanted to lose a lot of weight. Beautiful woman, one of the coolest friends I ever met, and she could bench press more than I could and arm curl more than I could. So I'll be very careful with my comments because she's probably listening. Hey, sorry I hit you in the head with the pancake, but sweet friend, beloved friend, but she was always concerned about that 3-digit score on her scale. On days when she stepped on the scale and the scale would deliver great news, she'd be excited. But on days when she'd step on the scale and it would deliver bad news, she'd be sad. And a lot of my friends go through that too. A lot of my fitness friends, and when they step on the scale, they're like, oh my God, I gained 5 pounds. And then they're devastated. So one time I talked with a friend and that happened, and I said, hey, look, it's just temporary. It's just right at that moment. Your weight is right there at that moment. But when you step off the scale, the number is gone and you become you again. Those numbers don't mean who you are. When you step off the scale, you're still a great mom. You're still a great dad. You're still a great person. So move on with your life, but focus on this. What you saw on that scale that you did not like, you have the power to change. What you see on your credit report, the 400 credit score, and now you feel bad because we just talked for 30 minutes and you can't buy anything. That 400 credit score is just a 3-digit score based on your credit health at that moment. So as we talk about this information today, as we go through these credit tips, the most important thing I need you to understand is this. You can change. No matter where you are in life, you could be addicted to alcohol, addicted to drugs, you could be addicted to drama. You could be, maybe you stayed out of school for a period of time to take care of your parents or your kids. Maybe you're not liking where you are right now for whatever struggle you're going through. You got to remember that you have the power to change. So I'm a living witness. Everything we're going to talk about today, I employed to fix my situation. For those of you who are, the few of you who are going to take this video and say, hey man, there's JB, he's on a high horse, he's preaching, and he's talking about credit repair because he's got everything. I don't have everything, first of all. And second of all, my credit was shot too. I was married, things were great, white picket fence, dog named Scout, everything was great. But things happen, life happens, change happens. And you have to decide if you're going to stay there or are you going to rebound and persevere and make things better. So everything we're talking about, I did. When I lost my house, when I lost my 700 credit score, my credit score fell. My credit score fell fast, embarrassingly fast. So when my clients call me and they talk about their bonds, like, oh man, I'm embarrassed. My score is horrible. My credit card is so maxed out. It's warm. When I pull it out of my wallet, it's warm. It's hot. I was there and I didn't have a home. I lost my home. But using the information that we're going to go through today, the information that we're going to go through right now, the same information that credit repair attorneys charge you for, credit repair companies, we're not going to mention any names because I don't want to get sued, Those companies give you this information, but they charge you, and we're going to give it all to you for free. So take good notes. Hey, Shawnee, take good notes. Jump in, ask questions. I'm kind of reading while I'm talking, so that's why I'm looking kind of crazy, doing the bobblehead thing, looking and talking at the same time. Jump in. This is your golden opportunity to get all the help you need. You can do it. Wherever you are, focus on the future. Your credit is just a 3-digit snapshot that is temporary. It's going to change. But the question is, do you want it? Do you want it that bad? Do you want it bad enough to make some sacrifices, to really focus in on all this information and to just delve right in with 2 feet and elbows and ankles and wrists and fingers? You really have to want it for it to happen. So obviously today, we're not talking about the super grant. We're not talking about loan programs or mortgages. We're going to talk about credit, because credit will help you no matter what you want to do. If you want to become a professional renter and pay a landlord for the rest of your life, that's cool. But sometimes you can't get an apartment because they pull your credit and they see you have a lot of collections and they see you have a low credit score. So they send you packing. Maybe you want a better credit score because you want a new car. There's nothing wrong with that. Cool. I know a couple guys who would love to sell you some cars, and they just logged into the Facebook seminar. But you can't buy a car if you have bad credit. Can't buy a house if you have bad credit. Sometimes you can't even get a good job sometimes if you have bad credit. I know one of the loan officer rules that rolled out, I think 2 years ago, they're pulling our credit. So we got to make sure that our credit is decent. I mean, it doesn't have to be stellar, but credit determines your future. So please take good notes and share this information, and call me if you have any questions. So with that said, please take good notes. Boys and girls, credit. Sometimes people call me and they say, JB, look, I can't buy a house now. So if I do this and do that and do this and do that and do this, how long will it take me to buy a house? And I'm a very candid person. And sometimes they don't like what I have to say, because the answer is there is no way to answer that question honestly. I can give you all this information, and there's no way that I can honestly answer the question of how fast you can boost your score. And the reason is because credit is based on 5 different components, and each component is weighted. So I would have better luck determining your weight after eating one of my delicious smoked pulled pork dinners. I'd have a better chance guessing your weight after that meal rather than guessing what your score is going to do in 2 weeks. So don't ask me that question. Instead, you want to install Credit Karma on your smartphone, and you want to check Credit Karma. I personally check Credit Karma literally every week. When my credit fell, I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive, as some of you might know, but I checked my credit to watch it increase. I made the sacrifices, and I saw my credit shoot up to where I could purchase a home. So I know I joke a lot, but seriously, that's what you might want to do. That is going to help you monitor your progress. And it's a free app. It's Credit Karma. It's free. You put it on your phone and you're done. Don't call a loan officer every 2 months and say, hey, can you pull my credit? I'm doing what you told me to do. Can you pull my credit? Because every time we pull your credit, your score can go down. That's one of the 5 things that we're going to talk about. So the very first thing on our list, payment history, which is really a short conversation. It is what it is. You got to pay your bills on time. Now, I know bad things happen to great people, and it's not a reflection of you're just negligent or lazy. Sometimes things happen out of your control and you can't make a payment because you don't have the money. It kills your score. Making a late payment accounts for 35% of your credit score. So if you make one late payment, you're toast. Your credit score is going to plummet. Just a little side note, don't be afraid to call the credit card company. I myself, I have this this Lowe's account. I'm sorry I dropped the name, but they're good people. So, and this is a good promotion for them. So I'm sure they won't beat me up. But I have this Lowe's card and I didn't make my Lowe's payment on time. My Lowe's payment was late. So I'm freaking out because of everything that I went through. I do not want any lates on my credit report. So I made the payment late, but I called them and I said, hey, look, guys, I'm making this payment. Please, please, please forgive me. I won't do it again. Please just send me the bills in the mail because I get emails all the time and I don't read them. Please give me a paper bill. They agreed to wipe the late charge. And they told me, hey, look, dude, you're freaking out for no reason because we don't put anything on your credit report unless it's 30 days late. So I know that, I teach that, but I freaked out. So side note, they're not going to put it on your credit unless it's 30 days late. And if they do put it on your credit because it's late, dispute it. Call them up, get it removed. Making any late payment on your credit report will almost kill your credit score. It could be 40, 50 points sometimes. So don't have any late payments. That accounts for 35% of your score. So the best way to boost your score is to pay your bills on time. That's the best way to do it. Now, 30% of your credit score is from credit utilization. Basically, the amount that you owe on your credit card. Best example, if you have a credit card where they give you a $500 limit, so you have $500 to play with. You go buy gym shoes, reasonable gym shoes. So you buy some $50 Nikes at the Nike outlet store, you still have $450 of utilization. So your utilization ratio is far under 10%. So that is wonderful. But let's say you buy an Xbox and 5 video games. So now you have almost completely exhausted your available limit. So you have a $450 balance and a $500 limit. What's going to happen to your credit score? What's going to happen to your credit score? Anyone want to take a guess? I see some people can't type very quickly. Okay, so your credit score is going to drop. Even though you're paying your bill on time, your minimum monthly payment might be $30, and you're paying your $30, you're only knocking that $450 down like that. So it's moving so slowly that it's not getting below the 20% mark or 25% mark. So your card is still maxed out. You maxed out your card. So 30% of your credit score is a reflection of the fact that you got those Xbox games in that Xbox and maxed out your $500 credit card. So pay that balance down as best as you can. Pay it down as low as possible. I know some of my colleagues in the industry say 20%, some say 25%. I'm going to show you a trick that I learned from another credit card company that actually charges, I think it's $60 per month now. And we won't mention the name. But for those of you who know sign language, you can laugh at what I just told you. So what I tell my clients, which always works, pay your balance down to $1, to 1.00. There's a glitch in the credit reporting system, and it works. As soon as the creditor sees that you have paid your Xbox and your Xbox games down to $1, there's a glitch in the system where it gets reported faster. So 20% is great, 25% is great, but pay that sucker down to $1. And then check in on your credit report on Credit Karma 30 days, 35 days later, and watch your score grow. So credit utilization accounts for 30% of your credit. Any questions about that? All right, so moving on. Length of credit history. True story. When I had my life moment and my divorce, I was so upset when I installed Credit Karma, because I was checking Credit Karma every week. So whenever the wind would blow sideways, Credit Karma would say, hey, you better get like a kite because the wind just blew that way. Credit Karma was the best thing for me. But in some ways it wasn't the best because I'm so, like weird about my credit. So true story, I got an alert on my Credit Karma and it said, hey, look, dude, you just bought something at Macy's. And for those of you who know me, I don't even go into shopping malls because I'm like shy. I know that's funny for some of you guys, but I don't like that. So I'll order stuff online. I don't want to go to a department store. So I knew as soon as Credit Karma said, hey, you just spent like a couple $100 at Macy's, you already know what happened. So I flipped out. I flipped the table. My head started spinning and I started spitting out the green poltergeist stuff. It was crazy because that wasn't me. I didn't buy anything at Macy's. You know who bought something at Macy's. So I called Macy's and I said, hey, guys, this credit card doesn't belong to me. And they said, well, sir, you are an authorized user on this account. Authorized user. And they said, sir, this account has been open for ages. Dude, this dumb account has been open for years. That's why you forgot about it. It's been open for 10 or something years. And you're an authorized user. And yeah, someone charged up $200 worth of items on this card. So what would any person do in that situation? Let me rephrase that for those of you who didn't guess the right answer. What would a person who was focused on his credit do without thinking? Okay, I don't see the right answer, so I'm going to say it. I told him to close my account. I told him to get my name off that Macy's card. I told him to kill my history. But what do you think happened when I killed my history? Guys, when you close out that credit card, in many cases, it's the worst thing you can do. I killed a 10-year relationship with Macy's and it pulled my score down. Why? Length of credit history accounts for 15% of your credit score. 15%. So when I closed and killed my relationship with that account, it pulled my score down. Best way to look at it is like this. This is what I always tell my clients who are confused by this. Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness. And they're on my mind because they just hit my bank account again for that stupid fee. Planet Fitness. One day I'm going to close my Planet Fitness account because I don't even go there. I go there to get the massage. But when I kill my relationship with Planet Fitness, people are going to laugh when they say, hey, man, you look like you keep in shape. And I'm going to laugh and say, no, I don't. I don't even belong to a gym. And they're going to say, well, what happened? And I'm going to say, well, I belong to a gym for a certain period of time and my relationship ended. So I am no longer in that relationship with Planet Fitness. It makes you look bad. It makes you look like you don't take care of your body, take care of your health. So that's the same thing that happens with these accounts. You don't want to close a relationship because you closing a relationship is not, going back to the snapshot, it's not demonstrating your credit ability. Again, your credit score is a reflection of your credit history at that particular point in time. So if you are not showing that you belong to Planet Fitness at that particular time when people are looking at you, you look like a chump. If you don't have a credit card because you closed that account because you heard on the radio that having an account is bad, you look like a chump too, because now you're not showing any active history, active credit history. So use that doggone credit card. Keep it active. Go buy gas and pay it down $1. Then go buy gym shoes, pay it down $1, or go buy, these are the coolest shoes. They just came in the mail. Go buy you some really cool shoes for, I'm not going to tell you how much I paid because you'll laugh. Wish is the coolest app on the planet. But anyway, go buy something small, then pay it down and keep that relationship going. Keep the credit relationship going, and that will help your score. That's 15% of your credit score. I'm going to slide to the side. I can't read any comments. Oh, we missed some comments. Okay. What would happen if you go back and pay off all accounts in collection? Okay, well, we're going to hit that one here in a minute. Credit score drop, bad. That's right. Oh, so they were guessing. Okay. Sorry, the thing didn't scroll down properly. So I'll just keep tapping on this button like I'm playing a video game. All right. So length of credit history accounts for 15% of your credit score. Now, new credit. And let's answer that question as we talk about new credit. New credit accounts for 10% of your credit score, either good or bad. For example, I had one client, and again, this goes back to the whole snapshot thing. I had one client who worked really hard to pay off a car. Client even paid off the car early. He paid that car bill religiously, had a really high credit score for obvious reasons, but then a certain cellular phone company hit his credit. They had a collection on his credit, so his credit score fell like 50 or 60 points, and then of course he couldn't buy a house. So your new credit, which can be bad or good, may have a negative or positive effect on your credit, especially collections. A collection can kill your score. So now let me make sure you heard what I'm saying. A collection can hurt your score. But now the corollary to that is you don't want to pay, Mary. You don't want to pay all your collections. Now, if you're running for president, if you're trying to be a Boy Scout leader, Girl Scout leader, something like that, clean your credit report, pay everybody, don't owe anybody, drink 1 glass of milk per day and say your prayers at night, and then you're a great person. But that really doesn't matter. In fact, paying off your collections, I would bet you $50, it'll bring your score down. Of course, if you have a 400 credit score, that's a different story. But if you're trying to get that 660 credit score with Super Grant, and you pay off that certain cellular phone company collection, that has the chance of bringing your score down. And why? Paying off an old collection on your credit report is the equivalent of you digging up old dirt that you already paid the price for many years ago. But it's the equivalent of you digging up old dirt and putting it right on the table. I could say a really funny Stormy Daniels joke right now, but I won't. So you don't want to bring up old news and put it out on your credit report because it'll hurt your score. What I always tell my clients, let sleeping dogs lie. The minute you pay that cellular phone company collection that was born in 2012 and they posted it on your credit report 3 months ago, the minute you go back and say to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, hey, look, man, I'm disputing this because it wasn't me, it was my dog. My dog had that cell phone, and I told my dog to take the cell phone back. The minute you do that, it's going to be re-reported right there on your credit report, right there in that third column. And by virtue of you doing that, you are now reminding Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion that you had a problem with that particular credit card company. So I'm certainly not telling everyone to be negligent and ignore your collections, ignore your responsibilities, don't pay people you owe. I'm not saying that to you. But what I am saying is, let sleeping dogs lie. If you're trying to buy a house, there's actually an underwriting rule where if you have collections and they're medical collections, forget about it. You can have $1 billion worth of medical collections. Now, of course, I'm not saying that is what you should do, but you could have $1 billion worth of medical collections. And as long as the computer accepts your file, you're getting that house. We ignore medical collections. Now, if your collections are so extreme that the total is over $2,000, then we have a problem. But non-medical collections apply to the $2,000 rule. Medical collections we ignore. So keep that in mind. So I hope that answers the question. All right, I see you, Ms. Logan, and thank you for joining us. All right, now I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions. Thank you. Great analogy, Wade. Thank you. What about those that are deleted after a dispute? Oh my gosh. Oh, oof. Okay, see, I need something other than water, but we'll do that later. What about those that are deleted after a dispute? We need to talk about that word dispute. It's a dirty word. Back in the day, I forget the year, let's just say at least maybe 5 years ago, loan officers and credit repair people would take, I'm going to say, the lazy approach, which is to basically look at your credit report and just dispute the heck out of every collection on there. Just write some doggone dispute letters. They don't even need to make sense. Let's just dispute everything. You probably did owe that doggone cable bill or that, man, I have seen some crazy collections. I saw a Golden Corral collection before, Golden Corral. Also saw a Kroger collection before. But anyway, so these credit repair people would just dispute everything, just dispute randomly and just without care, send the information to the credit bureaus, and the credit bureaus have a certain time frame to reply. They have to go contact Kroger or Golden Corral, prove the collection's real, document it, correspond, blah, 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 in a very short window to do it. Now, the likelihood of Golden Corral and Kroger, and I'm just using these as examples, to work with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion and prove you chalked up $100 at the Golden Corral and wrote a bet, the likelihood of them replying quickly is slim to none. So it's going to get marked on your credit report as dispute in progress, or consumer disagrees, or consumer is an idiot and trying to dispute this Golden Corral collection. It's going to show that on your credit report. And the minute that shows on your credit report, the underwriter sees the D word and automatically takes your file to a lower approval rating. So now the underwriter has to pull out a different rule book and now apply these dumb rules to your loan, which makes it harder for you to buy a house. Pay the bill or ignore the bill. But whatever you do, please don't put the D word on your credit report. It's the worst thing you can do. Now that rule, the D word rule, is a new rule that most loan officers aren't talking about. So I'm letting you know right now, if you're trying to buy a house and there is dispute written on your credit, there are exceptions. For example, if someone stole your identity and you can prove that it's an honest dispute, cool. I forget the other rules, but basically you have to prove that it's a true dispute. And if you can't, you've got a problem. So do not dispute. Now, of course, if someone stole your identity, you wrote the letters, and the dispute worked, it's going to show zero. It's not going to show the client is trying to dispute something. It's going to show $0. It's done. So if you feel the need to get something off of your credit report because maybe your collections total more than $2,000, feel free to dispute that. And side note, because I see that a lot of people are watching this video, funny story, I have one of my Facebook friends who applied for a loan and couldn't because of credit. And the client actually turned around and said that we got his information without his consent. We got all his information. So he actually disputed my credit inquiry. So if you're watching, dude, shame on you, man. That's just horrible. That's just unethical. Please don't do that. We're here to help you. We're here to get you your house. If you trust us to pull your credit, we're going to pull your credit, and it will be a hard inquiry, which reminds me, the smallest but still important way to improve or hurt your credit is through credit inquiries. That can actually account for 10% of your credit score. 10% off of an inquiry. Credit inquiries can hurt your credit. So don't do it. I would say if you're trying to buy a house, pick 2 loan officers and make sure that I'm number 1. And trust those 2 loan officers to compete. Just being honest with you, because you don't want to go to 5 different banks and have 5 different banks pulling your credit. Now you have 5 different credit inquiries. Heaven forbid you go to a broker. Now that guy is sending your credit to 3 different people. So now you just had 8 people pulling on your credit. Trust 2 people, pull your credit in the story. So you want to avoid lots of credit inquiries. And the last thing, you want to make sure that you have a blend of credit. You want to make sure that you have maybe a credit card, maybe an installment loan. definitely a mortgage. You want to have a blend of credit, and that's going to account for 10% of your credit. So that's how you do it, folks. That's how you build your credit. I think we've answered all the questions, and I'm so glad that you guys have joined us today. It has been an honor talking with you tonight. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me, call me, instant message me. We're here for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening.